So, I don't mean to brag, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Hello. You're currently on the phone with KCK. Yep, that's me.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm KCK, hence the title of the show. Yeah, let's get into this week's episode. It is finally March 3rd to be exact, 6:55 a.m. on Monday. I have said this, I don't know, thousands of times, but I want to start recording earlier, because I feel like I have more energy in the middle of the day versus waking up and recording right away because as soon as I start to record, I'm like, I haven't said one word today. I have to prepare myself and like Sharpay on High School Musical where she does the that stuff. Um but then it's just me in this room and I feel really weird. But I don't really do that actually. I just kind of start talking. Um anyway, yeah, so but what I was getting at is last night was the Oscars, so I didn't want to record and then miss um, saying who won the Oscars and all that stuff. Anyway, here we are. It is a new month. It is the third month of the year already, which is crazy. Everyone feels like January went by super slow. I didn't really think that. I don't know why. I just didn't. And February went by so quickly as it usually does. And now it is getting warmer. Yesterday I wanted to start a fire so bad, but I'm like, it's not cold enough, really. I can just turn the heat on for 15 minutes and it'll be fine. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it gets a little bit chillier so I can have a couple more fires for the year, but I think that is almost behind us. And I love having a fire going at my house. It's just so cozy. But I went to Disneyland this last week and it was super fun. It was me and my mom and three of her friends and my two of my cousins. And there were no kids, so it's all these adults, no kids, and it was fun watching my mom's friends because they have only been a few times, and when they have, it's been with their kids or their grandkids, and so they have to do wait in line for the princesses or the little kid rides, so they don't really get to do the full experience. One of her friends was like, I had no idea Disneyland had so much food. She's like, we would usually just stop and grab a pretzel and a drink or something and head to the next ride. And I'm like, oh no, yeah, Disneyland is all about the food. And just seeing how excited they were getting over little things, it was like you were there with little kids. And the first night we got there, we went to this Renaissance dinner. If you want to go, it is actually, I think it's totally worth it. It's in Anaheim. It's across the street from Knott's Berry Farm. If you haven't been to Knott's Berry Farm, I highly recommend going there. It's another amusement park that's been there forever. And it's got really fun roller coasters and stuff. But yeah, this is called Medieval Times. And you eat this royal feast. You go in, you have your little tables, and then they give you these crowns to wear, and it's like you're in an arena and you're all seated around it, and they bring you out these metal plates and bowls. They don't give you any utensils. You eat with your hands. So they start out with soup and bread, and then it was a ginormous, I don't know, it was a leg of chicken or a wing of chicken or however you would describe it. It honestly looked like an entire chicken. And you eat that with your hands. I don't usually like chicken or food with bones in it. I'm the first to say it. But this piece of meat had so much meat on it, and it just peeled off the bone so easily. I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. They gave us corn. They gave us those really good potatoes, and what else did they give us? We had eclairs for dessert. It was it was so good. I loved it. Then they had this girl that brought this falcon out, and the falcon flew around the arena. They had jousting. They had their horses would bow if they on command. There was a king and queen up in their little spot, and it was an entire production. It went a little long, I will say, and it was freezing inside. It was so cold. But I came to the conclusion that it's probably because of the horses. Like, they can't have it too hot in there because the horses will literally like overheat. But yeah, if you want to do that, medieval times, they have them like quite a bit of places. Texas, that's the only one that's coming to my mind right now. But there's like 8 different ones, and it's like you pull up, it looks like a castle, and I don't know. It's just a very well put together show. I was kind of curious how they're making money because, like, the horses, first of all, are not cheap, and to have an entire arena and to pay all these workers and like I don't know, it just my mind went to how are they actually making money? They had like a multiple merch stands where you could buy like swords and those princess hats with like the long fabric coming out of the back of them. They took your picture when you walked in. Like it was a very well put together thing. Anyway, that was really fun. So if you want to do that, I highly recommend it. I did a TikTok to it. I was like, when your mom and her friends invite you to a Renaissance dinner. And I did sound like, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. And then I did just like clips of what went on during the show. And it was to Apple by Charlie XCX, but it was the medieval thing. And it got like, I don't know, 1,500 views. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is doing so well. Like, a lot of my videos only do like 500. And if that. So then, this is what I wanted to brag about. My cousin was showing me these TikToks of people doing stuff at Disneyland. Like, one was like, meet me at the worst ride at Disneyland. And she chose Mr. Toad's, which is crazy because I love Mr. Toad's. And I chose Nemo's submarine ride because, well, obviously, it's a terrible ride. And then my other cousin chose Star Tours. And that would have been my second choice, I think. And then what else? We did another one, too. Oh my gosh, what was the other one we did? Oh, I did one where it's like when your mom and her friends ask you to be their Disney tour guide. And I it was like recording me and then lifted up the phone and my mom and her friends were all behind me. And then there was a scene where we were walking in front of the castle and it was to the sound of the Aristocats ducks walking or waddling, whatever they are. Are they ducks or are they geese? Whatever they are. And then my cousin showed me this one. It was these 2 girls and they're like at Disneyland and one of them says, it's getting kind of cold. The other one's like, I know. Do you think we should buy a jacket? And then they go in and they start like, they do fast forward. They start rummaging through all the jackets and stuff to the Roman Holiday song by Nicki Minaj. And I was like, let's do that. But we couldn't use their sound. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a setting or something. So we had to make our own. And I was like, yeah, this would probably do pretty good. As of this morning, you guys, and some people are like, that's not even that much. But for me, that's a lot. It is at 87.6 thousand views. I have 20,000 likes on my TikTok now, and I've gained, I don't know, not that many followers for it being that many, but I've gained quite a few followers. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun. Is this what it feels like to be famous? To have people like you? Like, I don't know. Like, I'll log on or get on Twitter and, not Twitter, TikTok, and it'll be like, you have 4,000 new likes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Anyway, what we did at Disneyland though was we wanted it to be like, well, I did, the quintessential Disney experience for these guys because, like I said, they have only come when it's like super busy or when they've had kids and it's just like they're not having fun. So I wanted it to be this experience that they would be like, oh, okay, I get it. I get why people like it here. I don't know, call me a Disney adult if you want. I don't really care because this is what I do for fun. And some people go and watch people play on a field for 4 hours and just run into each other over and over again. So if this is what I want to do for fun, you can do whatever you want for fun. As long as it's not hurting anybody, who cares what you do? I signed us up for a Minnie's breakfast at the Plaza Inn. I think it was what it's called, Plaza thing. It's at the end of Main Street, across from Jolly's Square or Jolly Corner. And you go in and you get your picture taken with Minnie first, and then you go in and it's like a whole buffet of breakfast. And let me tell you, this food was good. They had Jello, which was delicious. I know people are probably thinking like Jello. I'm like, yeah, it's just Jello, but this one was so good. They had mini waffles. They had eggs and bananas Foster and oatmeal, sausage, chicken. What else do they have? Pastries. I had a Danish and a croissant. You almost made me drop my croissant. What else do they have? They have fruit, like, and you can just get as much as you want. And it was not like cheap, gross buffet food. And then they have the characters kind of walk around. Did you know? This makes me sound really Disney adult. When we were waiting in line to take our picture with Minnie, one of the chipmunks was walking around, and we're like, "Hey, Chip," and they're like, "Nope, that's actually Dale." We're like, "Oh, sorry." We're like, "How do you know?" She's like, "Chip has the brown nose, and Dale has the red nose. He's got a chip on his nose." We're like, "Oh, okay." And so they had like Tigger and Winnie the Pooh and the little mouse from Cinderella, the one that sews. I don't know if she even has a name. Who else did they have walking around? But was it Eeyore? Anyway, it's not important. I was walking back to my seat though, and I think it was Chip was like following me, and so he's like, "Look, he's following you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes down the stairs, and I'm sitting in the corner on this porch, and there's like this trellis next to me, and all of a sudden I see this furry hand stick its hand through the trellis trying to take my food. I could not stop laughing, you guys. It was so funny. So yeah, that was the breakfast was like a highlight of everyone's. I think everyone was pretty impressed by it. It is $50 for adults and I think 35 for kids. But for the amount of food, you can get as much food as you want, you guys. Like they don't stop you. And yeah, so if you want to like fill up on breakfast before the park or whatever, although you don't really want to ride rides before or after you eat a bunch of food. Anyway, also that night, I was so bugged because I had this planned out perfectly. We were supposed to get there on Wednesday, which we still did, but we were supposed to be able to have a half day in the park and then go home on Saturday, but not be rushed. Like we could just hang out at the hotel till our flight. But like a month before our flight was supposed to take off, they changed it, so we weren't going to get there until like 5. And I'm like, well, our reservation's at 2:30 for Blue Bayou. If you've never been to Blue Bayou, it is in New Orleans Square. And it is that restaurant when you're on Pirates of the Caribbean, when you first leave the dock. It's that restaurant off to your right that you see. And it is delicious. It is so good. They have gumbo, they have prime rib, they have filet mignon, they have chicken. They have like a fish. It's like market fish, whatever, fish of the day. It's delicious. It's pricey. So I wouldn't take like your whole family there if you don't want to spend a lot of money, and it's hard to get into. And so I had to cancel that reservation and find another one, which was, I wasn't thinking we were going to do it, but it was until 9:30 p.m. And by the time it was like 8, all of us were like, I'm ready to go because we'd done everything. We got the lightning pass. We did everything. And we were just kind of tired, but it was too late to cancel or they would charge us anyway. So we went, and we're glad we did because it was fun, but they were talking about doing things after, like going to ride a few rides after, and the thought of that was exhausting because before then, we went to the tiki room twice so we could take naps. And you're probably wondering, how do you take a nap in the tiki room? My family can take a nap anywhere. It is not hard for us to do that. So tiki room is one of our go-tos, especially in the summer when it's super hot. You just go in this dark room, and it's air conditioned, and these birds sing. My mom's friend was like, "Oh, I don't mind the birds, whatever, but when the plants start singing, I hate it." And I'm like, "The plants sing?" And they start laughing so hard because I don't think I've ever stayed awake, maybe one time through the whole tiki show because I just sleep. It's just my little cat naps that I need to get. So yeah, so the thought of going and doing rides after dinner at like 10:30 p.m. was exhausting, but we did, and it was fun. And we rode the Matterhorn. I kept telling them, "Was you guys, this ride hurts. This ride is not like enjoyable." And they're like, "No, we will." The whole way down, they're like, "Ow, oh my god!" And by the time we got to the bottom, they're like, "Oh, that ride was awful. Whose idea was that?" I was like, I told you." They're like, I know. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was very tiring, but I got my jacket, I tell you that, from my TikTok. It's these really cool red, they almost look like, not Letterman jackets, but old school jackets. And the thing with Disney is some of their stuff is fugly. Some of their stuff is so hideous. And me and my cousin, who would be president and can there be two presidents, CEO and president of the buying committee for the world? More than half the stuff would not make it past our inspection because it is so ugly and so unnecessary. And I just don't love, I don't know if I'm tired of them, but the Disneyland shirts that are long sleeve and on the back, they have the giant Disneyland logo on the back. I'm over those. I don't like those. And some of the stuff is just so ugly. And, but these are just plain. It's got Disneyland on the front and a little Mickey. And that's it. Nothing on the back. Nothing crazy. So we bought that, and you can get them embroidered. But know this first, because my cousin bought her jacket the day before. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that tomorrow. Then we can make our TikTok from it. She's like, okay. And we were waiting in line at Minnie's, and the lady commented on my cousin's jacket. And she was like, oh, I got this the other day, and I went and had it embroidered with my name on it. And we're like, oh, we didn't know you could do that. She's like, yeah. And so I went and we did my video. Then we went and bought my jacket and took it to this embroider place. And they're like super strict. You have to have the receipt. It has to have the tags on it. You can't have worn it. And I think you had to have bought it that day. I think. And so like my cousin kept trying. She's like, you can't just embroider mine. I bought it yesterday. They're like, no, sorry. And we're like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, we're paying for the embroidery, which wasn't even that bad. It was only $8. I'm sure people saw that and were like, geez, you spent a lot of money. First of all, true. Second of all, it wasn't that much. I was pretty surprised. I don't know. It was just clearly a Disney, like, the jacket we were wearing, or she was wearing, was like less than 10 feet away from us. Like, it was obvious we bought it at Disneyland. And even if we'd not bought it, I don't know, like, maybe last trip that we came, like, we still bought it at Disneyland. And they're like, no, sorry, we can't do that. We're like, that's really annoying. You just ruined our video. Thank you for ruining our vacation. So anyway, I got mine done. It turned out really well. And yeah, now I am going viral on TikTok. I keep thinking it's going to slow down, but it really hasn't. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll go with it. Anyway, that was our trip to Disneyland. And I hope you enjoyed it. I just talked about it for 18 minutes. So hopefully you guys are still here. You guys are like, get on with the show. All right, we will start. The Oscars were last night, and it was actually a very nice. You could watch it live on Hulu, which was, I think, a first. It's like a first for all these award shows this year. And I know I talked about it a lot, but why did it take them so long to get on this bandwagon? I will never know. But I wanted to do a list of them. It's not showing a list. Kieran Culkin won for what is that? Simple Pain, Real Pain, which I thought he wrote that. He did not. He was just co-starred in it. Jesse Eisenberg wrote it. I could have sworn it was the exact opposite. Anora won twice, I think, for Best Picture and Best Directing, I want to say. Did you see Miley Cyrus and Miles Teller? They presented together. Oh, I just love them. I'm not trying to be mean, but I really wish Miley would date someone of her caliber. Her boyfriend she's dating now is just... I would not choose him for her, but she seems very happy. And last time she went for looks, it didn't work out. I don't think he's ugly, but the hair... she's Miley Cyrus. She could have anyone she wants. So it's crazy when these guys have these A-list, beautiful women, and then they cheat on them, or they break up with them, or they're mean to them. I'm like, how? First of all, how? Also, the rumors were true The very first scene of the Oscars was Ariana Grande singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Then Cynthia Erivo came out, and I can't remember what she was singing, but it was something, I think Wizard of Oz type thing. And then they sang Changed for the Better or Changed for Good. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. But it was beautiful. It was stunning. It was everything we wanted, and I'm so glad that they tried to lie and say it wasn't true. That being said, Ariana was asked about the Eternal Sunshine Deluxe edition, and she was not fumbling, but just like stumbling over her words, trying to think of something to say. She's like, I can't say soon because soon means 10 days or less to my fans. She's like, I'm not saying soon yet. So there is a possibility that she will be saying soon. I don't know, probably later this spring, I would say, for an Eternal Sunshine Deluxe edition. I also found, it's on my other phone, but I found someone broke down Eternal Sunshine and how you should feel when you listen to each section, and I'll talk about it next time because it's actually really interesting. But what else happened? Doja Cat and Lisa and Ray did like a tribute to James Bond, and they did really good. I'm not saying they did bad, but how wonderful would it have been if they got Adele to come out and sing Skyfall? Because I think Ray sang it, and Ray has a wonderful voice, but Adele's kind of like in hiding right now, like laying low. It would have been perfect. It would have been the talk of the night if she would have come out and sang her song Skyfall. But I know she's taking a break. She wants to have a baby. Blah blah blah. It just makes you wonder because they talked about the James Bond franchise 2 or 3 times last night. So I wonder if they're getting close to choosing their next James Bond, and really no one can figure out who it's going to be. I would like Henry Cavill or Taron Egerton, or who else is British? Those are the only two that's coming to mind right now. New James Bond. But they can't, so Amazon bought MGM Studios, which is the studio that owns James Bond. And so they kept bringing that up. And I'm like, have they decided on who? Joe Alwyn? No. No. Please no. Please no. Just no. Says Joe Alwyn teases interest in being next James Bond. I think he's aware that it's not going to happen, but he said who wouldn't throw their hat in the ring for this? Oof. If they choose him, that would be a huge mistake. So I think he was there yesterday in the audience because I think it was the last award of the night or one of them. They were showing the audience and the person hugging everybody and whatever. And in the back, I just see this face. I'm like, is that Joe Alwyn? And it just reminded me of, what was that? James? Okay, it says Amazon launch hunt for James Bond's new boss. Tech giant needs a new 007 franchise leader after taking creative, I don't know, something. New James Bond rumors were true. So I don't think that they have chosen anyone yet. This was a week ago. Who will be the next James Bond? Okay, here's a list of Aaron Taylor Johnson. He would be pretty good. James Norton. I don't know who that is. Who is James Norton? James Norton, Little Women. I still haven't seen that. You guys don't hurt me, but I have not seen that, even though I have it. James Norton was born in 1985 to two teachers and has a younger sister who is a doctor. Yeah, I don't know. Playing Nice, Joy, Bob Marley, One Love, A Little Life, Ex-Husbands. So far I only know one of those things. Little Women. Rogue Agent. I've never heard of that. So it's clear we have not chosen anyone yet. Paul Mescal, Kingsley Ben Adur. I've never heard in the Barbie film. I don't remember that. I just feel like they're taking way too long on this. I don't know why it's taking so long. And watch them do that and then the movie ending up being terrible. Where was I getting with this? Oh yeah, they performed. And Doja Cat looked really, really good, I will say. Okay, here's the list of the winners. Best Picture was Anora. Actress in a leading role was Mikey Madison. She plays, I'm guessing her name is Anora in the film, but she's the main character. Best Director Sean Baker for Anora. Actor in a leading role Adrian Brody, the Brutalist. Everyone kind of expected that to happen. Actor in a supporting role Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. This one, I feel bad for her because I think she's a well-liked person, but she was up against Ariana Grande, who I thought did phenomenal. And I think if she would have lost to someone else, Ariana would have lost to someone else besides the Amelia Perez, because everyone freaking hates Amelia Perez. The main girl was there, the one that was canceled, Carla Gascon. She was in the audience, and I was like, you're pretty brave. But Zoe Saldana, she won over Ariana Grande, and people are not happy. Like on Twitter, on TikTok, like I don't know. I have not seen Amelia Perez. I've heard it's terrible, but I heard Zoe does a pretty good job. I can't imagine things winning over Wicked. It just was so good. It was so good. Let's see, adapted screenplay. Peter Strahan for Conclave. Original screenplay Sean Baker for Anora. Costume design Paul Tazwell for Wicked. He was the first African American man to win this award. Original score Daniel Bloomberg for The Brutalist. I'm sorry, it should have went to Challengers, which wasn't even nominated. This movie flow must be pretty good because it keeps beating Inside Out 2. So I don't know what it's about. I don't know why it's so liked, but it won again. It won Flow over the, what is it, the Wild Robot and Inside Out 2, which I heard both those films were really good. Well, I know Inside Out 2 was. I heard Wild Robot was really good too. I don't know. Let's see. Cinematography was The Brutalist. Original song was El Mal from Amelia Perez. Okay. What else? Sound was Dune Part 2. Visual effects was Dune Part 2. I don't know. Did you guys see Timothy and Kylie were there together? And she just like sits there and lets him do his thing, lets him have his shine. I don't know. I just can't imagine looking that good. Just like, she probably showed up in like a Rolls Royce, and like anything is just like a drop in the bucket for her. She just has so much money, and she's just living the life and being rich and beautiful and young and with an attractive boyfriend and going to these parties. I just love seeing them together. I just love seeing them. What else? Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom were at the Vanity Fair after party. Who else was there? Laura Dern was there. She was in the audience. I saw her. She wasn't nominated for anything. I hope we see her again and stuff and like getting nominated, because I love Laura Dern. I love her so much. All right, that was it for the Oscars. Conan O'Brien hosted it, and he did a great job. I just love Conan. I would work for Conan in a heartbeat, honestly. I think I already talked about this, but I would. He's just so funny. He's so nice. He's just, it'd be a good time no matter what when you're around him. So maybe someday. All right, moving on. Joann Fabric is going out of business officially. I think they filed chapter, what's the one where you can like reconsolidate your debt? I think it's chapter 11. Chapter 7 is like the one where you get rid of everything. Like you just pretty much start from scratch. But they could not find a buyer, they said. And so they're closing all 805 stores or something. So goodbye, Joann. We will miss you probably. Everyone keeps saying like, why couldn't it have been Hobby Lobby? And I completely agree. I hate Hobby Lobby. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Have you ever walked into Hobby Lobby? It is just filled with junk. Just garbage. And not to mention like the things that the people that own it donate money to. We won't even get into that. But just, I don't know. You just walk in and it is floor to ceiling garbage. That being said, I have bought a lot of stuff from them, but you get it home and you're like, this is like peeling already. This is like not even worth it. So I don't know. There's too much stuff. There's too much stuff. You guys, roll it back, peel it back. Me as I'm sitting in a room filled to the brim with stuff, with stuff that if someone came in and saw this and they had to clean it out, they'd probably throw away like 99% of the stuff I have in this room. But to me, it's treasure. It is treasure. Whenever I think of that word, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I think, when Captain Barbossa is rescuing his daughter. Spoiler alert. And she's like, "Who am I to you?" And he's like, "Treasure." Then he falls and dies. Yeah, so I agree. Why couldn't it have been Hobby Lobby? I just don't understand. But I just don't understand why it has to be all cheap stuff. Like, get some good stuff. Yeah, end of rant. Madonna is teasing a new era. That's pretty much all I know of that, but she is. And it's like a continuation of a era she's already been in. So we'll see. Hopefully it's good. I don't like listen to Madonna like from album beginning to end, but she does have a few songs that I really do like. And I'm like, okay, I get this, but I don't get the whole Madonna hype. That being said, she was probably like the only pop star for a long time, you know? So that's why the popularity. Anyway, okay, there's a new show called No Taste Like Home, and it is from Antoni from Queer Eye. Antoni Porowski. I can never say his name. But it's on National Geographic. You can stream it on Hulu and Disney because I think Disney owns it. I think there's already an episode out because it says next episode is March 9th, which is, I think it's Sunday. So do they premiere? Anyway, there are only like 8 episodes, I think. Okay, there's 2 episodes out. It started February 23rd. Nope, it started before that. Anyway, that does not matter. Stop talking. Okay. The plot says Porowski takes famous guests on an international journey to their past through food in each episode. So we've got, let's see, we've got Florence Pugh, love her. James Marsden, love him. Awkwafina, love her. Justin Theroux, love him. How would you know him from? He's in a lot of movies, but I don't know which one to tell you. Anyway, he used to be married to Jennifer Aniston. We got Henry Golding from Crazy Rich Asians and Issa Rae. I love Issa Rae. She's from the show Insecure, and she's been in a few movies. She does a lot of directing now, which I love. But yeah, basically he takes them, like it says, James Marsden's German dish up, Awkwafina's Korean homecoming. So yeah, it just looks like a wholesome, fun movie. And I just don't know how you couldn't never like Antoni. He's just such a precious gem, and I just love him so much. So if you want something easy to watch and just lighthearted, it looks like they're crying though, so probably get ready to cry. He gets better with age. I just don't understand how he constantly looks so good, and how it's not fair that he eats all this food and stuff and still has a body like he does. It just does not make sense. And I look at a cracker and I gain 17 pounds. But oh well. Yeah, I highly recommend watching that. I haven't watched it, but I just know it'll be good. And it kind of gives the vibes of British Bake Off, British Baking Show, Great British Baking Show, of just like that kind of zen, relaxing type of show, you know? Okay, this is interesting. So in Lady Gaga's, all 3 of her latest music videos, you notice in the background there is a lady standing there with a hat on. In Disease, she's very prominent. You see her. She's the one with the cane walking around. Apparently her name is Miss Mayhem because she's in that. She's also in Abracadabra. She's just kind of, well, no, she's not in the background of that either. But she is in the background of Die With A Smile. She's like, so Die With A Smile music video, it's Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars on this sound stage, and it's kind of like you're watching them from afar, but you can like kind of see the cameras around them and whatever. It's kind of like a behind the scenes look. if you look closely, you will see Ms. Mayhem standing there. So she's been teasing this for a while now because that music video came out, September, August, September, something like that. So it's been a while. Her album comes out, you guys, in 4 days. 4 days. We get a new Lady Gaga album. Oh, it's just like old times. Just like old times. We have 2 new songs in the Billions Club on Spotify. Although the one I think just happened yesterday, so it hasn't been updated. But the first one is In the Stars by Benson Boone, which is such a pretty song. He wrote it about his grandma. And I just love Benson Boone. I love him so much. I can't handle it. Also, his new song is so good. So good. It's called Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else. And I don't know. I always say male pop stars just don't do it, but he is doing it. I will say that. And I'm here for it. I will be with you on this journey, Benson Boone. And then the next song is California Girls by Katy Perry and Snoop Dogg. So that's exciting. Let's see some of the songs that have been added recently. So In the Stars, California Girls, we know. This one's funny. Temperature by Sean Paul. It joined a week ago. Please, Please, Please. That was November 15th. There's like no order to this. I don't understand. So let's see. 6 days ago was Wild Ones by Sia. 4 days ago was Beautiful Crazy by Luke Combs. I think that's the Beautiful Crazy. That one, you know. Sounds just like that. This one, I have no idea. It's Pink Floyd, but it's called Another Brick Wall Part 2. That happened 5 days ago. And that is it for the most recent ones. All these ones are older. But it doesn't make any sense. Oh, 2 weeks ago. Kiss Me, Sixpence None the Richer. Sorry, Sixpence, I don't know who you are. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The Billions Club is getting a little less exciting, I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's just so many that are in there now. Like now they're gonna have to just start doing like the 2 Billions Club, because that'll be more unique, you know. Some of these songs that are in here, I don't get it. I don't understand. I've never even heard 1,000 Years. Oh my gosh. I have nothing against Christina Perri, but I can't listen to her music. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it was just so overplayed during the Twilight era, or if it reminds me of my teacher in high school. We had to like cut open a shark. I didn't help one bit with this, but and he would always be like, "Now get the heart," and he's like, "Who do you think you are, collecting your jar of hearts?" He said that joke like 75 million times, and I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, so now I just associate with that horrid shark smell and dissecting a shark, which is just disgusting. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I don't like her music, but I just don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Halsey has a new song called Safe Word. It's out. A new music video as well. So the leg lamp from A Christmas Story, apparently they have a statue of it in Oklahoma. And I don't know why. Is that where Christmas Story is filmed? I just don't understand why they have it. They don't charge people to come and look at it, but they do have like a merch stand, and Warner Brothers is trying to sue them to tell them to take it down, like the cease and desist order. And they counter sued or whatever, and they said that we haven't heard anything from them since, but it's just really interesting because it's been up for a long time and they've had no problem with it, and then all of a sudden they do. So I don't know. I mean, what can it hurt? It's like 40 feet tall, and it's probably attracting more attention. Like people are like, oh, I want to watch Christmas Story this next Christmas. Like I haven't seen it forever. Like it's not like it's this new thing and they're like raking in money from it. They're not even making hardly any, and they probably make enough from merch just to keep up the grounds around it, you know, and keep it maintained. But oh well. Nicole Kidman has a new movie called Holland coming out, and it is about a town in Holland, Michigan. It says a woman's picture-perfect life in quaint Holland, Michigan crumbles when she and a friend uncover a twisted secret in their midst. She is the most famous of them all in this. There's really no one else that anyone would know. I think if you saw him, you'd be like, oh, I know that person. But Other than that, she is the most famous of them all. It is a Amazon Prime movie, so it comes out March 27th. Looks pretty good. Looks anything she's in is just fantastic. I want to know her routine. Like, what vitamins does she take? What foods does she not eat? How much sleep does she get? What is her skincare routine? What is her spa routine? Does she get facials? Is she going to an IV bar and getting IVs or vitamins pumped into her? I just want to know what she does to have this much energy, to have this much, I don't know, ambition, and just to look this good all the time. I don't know. It's just interesting to me when I want to know everyone's secrets for how they do it. Like, how does Kim Kardashian do it? How do these people live on no sleep and still look amazing? I know they're super filthy rich. I know that helps, and they can afford serums and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to know. I want to know everything. This is actually so sad. I probably should have started with this because this is more important than pretty much anything else. Michelle Trachtenberg. She was from Ice Princess. She was from Gossip Girl. She was from Harriet the Spy. She died. She's only 39 years old and she died. It says Michelle Trachtenberg of Gossip Girl and Buffy the Vampire Slayer dead at 39. There's no foul play. Apparently she had a surgery. And it doesn't say in this article, but I think it has something to do with her liver or her lungs. And she just died. Like, her mom went to go and find her, and she found her in her apartment. She was unresponsive. It says police responded to a 911 call on Wednesday just after 8 a.m. local time and found a woman unconscious and unresponsive inside a Manhattan apartment. She was later identified as Trachtenberg, according to NYPD spokesperson. EMS responded to the location and pronounced the victim deceased. Criminality is not suspected, the NYPD said in a statement, adding that the investigation remains ongoing. Trachtenberg's official cause of death will come from the medical examiner's office. So maybe it's out now. Early on Wednesday, an NYPD source told CNN that Trachtenberg reportedly had a recent medical issue and that her death appeared to be related to natural causes and not suspicious. Yeah, and she was in, remember 17 going on, no, 17 again? I don't know. I just feel so bad. That is so sad. How old was Brittany Murphy when she died? I think she was a lot younger. Hang on. Brittany. How do you spell her name? There's so many ways to spell Brittany. Brittany from Real Housewives of Salt Lake. Okay, Brittany Murphy. She was... it does not say how old she was. Come on, just tell me. 1977 to 2009. So someone do that quick math. I cannot. Okay, she was 32. That's so... it's one of those things that's just so sad. Her story's wild. Maybe I'll have to do an episode on that one time because she lived in Britney Spears' old house, and I think Britney Spears sold it because she's like, there's something weird going on with this house. Like, I can just feel it. And Britney ended up dying. Brittany Murphy ended up dying in it, and apparently it had a bunch of mold everywhere. And then her creepy ass husband ended up dying shortly after, but nobody liked him, and he kept her from everyone, and she was acting weird. I don't know. It's just a very sad story. So I just feel bad for these people that die so young, and I don't know. But yeah, rest in peace, Michelle Trachtenberg. It was one of those articles that I saw. I'm like, this can't be true. This is one of those lies. And I checked it again, and I kept checking. And I'm like, no, this is real. This is actually real. I don't know. It's just so sad. You didn't see a lot of her recently either. So I don't know if she was just kind of laying low, or maybe she didn't feel good. Apparently she had some kind of condition. So there is a new space crew going to space, and it is all female. It is from the Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos. That's the Amazon guy. He is the owner of that. I don't know what is up with billionaires and owning space companies and why they care about it so much. Why don't you use that money to make this world a better place? Just a crazy thought. It says Blue Origin announces crew for New Shepard's 31st mission. New Shepard's 11th human flight, NS-31, will launch this spring with Aisha Bowe, Amanda Wynn, Gayle King, Katy Perry, Kieran Flynn, and Lauren Sanchez. Lauren Sanchez is Jeff Bezos' fiance, just FYI. It gives like a brief description of all of them, but I'm going to just do Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez, which I found out something new from Lauren. I had no idea. It says Katy Perry is the biggest selling female artist in Capitol Records history and one of the best selling musical artists of all time with over 115 billion streams. 115 billion. Aside from being a global pop superstar, Katy is an active advocate of many philanthropic causes, including as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, where she uses her powerful voice to ensure every children's right to health, education, equality, and protection, and her own Firework Foundation, which empowers children from underserved communities by igniting their inner light through the arts. Katy is honored to be a part of the Blue Origin's first all-female crew and hopes her journey encourages her daughter and others to reach for the stars, literally and figuratively. People are so mean on Twitter. They're like, the album flops so hard that she has to leave the planet. I'm like, you guys are so mean. Okay, Lauren Sanchez. I did not know this. I knew she was some kind of journalist, but I had no idea she had this credentials. Lauren is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, New York Times bestselling author, pilot, vice chair of Bezos Earth Fund, and mother of 3. In 2016, Sanchez, a licensed helicopter pilot, founded Black Ops Aviation, the first female-owned and operated aerial film and production company. Sanchez released a New York Times bestselling debut children's book, The Fly Who Flew to Space, in 2004. Her work in aviation earned her the Elling Halverson Vertical Flight Hall of Fame Award in 2024 for her expertise as a helicopter pilot and aviation businesswoman. Sanchez's goal is to inspire the next generation of explorers. So yeah, there we go. It doesn't give me an exact date, but it's supposed to be sometime this spring. I don't know. Would you guys go to space? I don't. Is it worth it? I just go to Disneyland and ride Star Wars. I just don't think that it's worth it. What do you go up there for 15 minutes and come back down? So much could happen. Gayle King is the only other person I know on this list. She is Oprah's friend. She also has more credentials than that. It says Gayle King is an award-winning journalist, co-host of CBS Mornings, editor-at-large of Oprah Daily, and the host of Gayle King in the House on SiriusXM Radio. In a career spanning decades, King has been recognized as a gifted, compassionate interviewer able to break through the noise and create meaningful conversations. As someone who is staying open to new adventures, even ones that scare her, Gayle is honored to be part of Blue Origin's first all-female flight team and is looking forward to stepping out of her comfort zone. Good job, ladies. You're doing so great. There's a first look at Shrek 5, and it looks absolutely horrible. They changed the animation. Zendaya's in it, and that's great. That's fantastic. But the animation is awful, you guys. It's terrible. It looks like 2011 Smurfs. That's how the animation looks. We're why would you... They clearly aren't making another Shrek because they are passionate about it. They're making it because it makes money. So why would you change something? Why would you change something knowing you want to make massive amounts of money from it and change anything about it, honestly? I think the weirdest one on there is Donkey. He looks so not like Donkey. His eyes are so close together. I don't know. I'm obviously going to watch it still because it's Shrek and it's got all the original cast, but I'm not happy. I am not happy, Bob. It is so frustrating. Why would they do that? But people are because this happened with Sonic. Remember when Sony had to go back, I think it was Sony, and reanimate it because people threw such a fit of how horrible the animation was? I think we can do it, you guys. I think we can do this because I'm telling you, this animation is awful. And there's a first look, but it doesn't even come out until December of 2026. So I don't think they made it that far. You guys can reshoot and reanimate whatever you need to, but this was a major fumble, DreamWorks, major. There's a Walk to Remember reboot in the works, and there's not much information about it because it just came out. It says, grab some tissues because a reboot of A Walk to Remember is officially in the works. Monarch Media has secured the rights to the best-selling 1999 novel by Nicholas Sparks and is teaming up with Denise D. Novi and Hunt Lowry, the producers of the 2002 film adaptation which starred Mandy Moore and Shane West, for this new version. So I think it'll be a while before it comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out like on a streaming service. So that means it could either be really good or really bad. It's just very hit or miss when things come out on Netflix or Prime or Hulu. Like they can be really cheap or they can be really well done and people love them, but I don't know. There's really no in between, honestly. Trisha Paytas, she just came to Salt Lake, and I was actually pretty sad because I got home, like we landed right as soon as her show was about to start, so there was no way I could have even made the show. And I was so sad until I think it was last week I looked into it a little bit more, and she was playing at Kingsbury Hall. And if anyone knows me, well, actually I don't talk about that often, so how would you know? But I hate Kingsbury Hall. Hate it. My knees, like, there's no room in those seats. No room. It's this old, beautiful building. Don't get me wrong, it's very beautiful. Parking is terrible. It's up by the U. Parking is terrible. The seats are so old. There's no room. They're so uncomfortable. And like my knees are just squished on the seat in front of me. That's how small these seats are. And so I actually, once I saw that, I did not feel one bit bad. Honestly, I was not sad at all that it was there and I missed it, because I'm telling you, I hate that venue. If anyone goes there, I won't go. Honestly, I will not go. And a lot of comedians go there. I don't understand why, but they do. And it makes me so angry. So Swig did like she talked about this on stage too. They didn't make her own drink. They just recycled an old one, and they kept calling it the Ring King. And I'm like, are they talking about Tristan Ayaka, whatever his name is? Because that's his name, is the Ring King. He's the one. He's Indie Blue's friend. Indie Blue is that influencer that lives in Utah, and they travel together all the time. And he started making these rings out of spoons, and was selling them, and so he became the Ring King. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you recycle another influencer's drink and give it to Trisha Paytas? She acknowledged it. She's like, I don't think it's even new. I think it's someone else's that they just recycled and made my own. But she's like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I know she's pretty excited to be in Utah. And on the wall of the venue was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat with Donny Osmond, who she loves, if you guys are unaware of that. And if you don't know who Trisha Paytas is the internet. She's kind of like Wendy Williams in a sense that she becomes pop culture just by whatever she does. They talk about pop culture, but then they become the pop culture. So it's kind of like goals, honestly. But she has another announcement. She's like, I can't talk about it, but it's the biggest thing that's ever happened. And she's like, I cannot believe that it is even a thing. She's like, you'll never guess it because I never even would imagine this had happened. But people are starting to say that they think she's in the new season of Euphoria, which we've seen clips from now, not clips, but pictures of Zendaya in it, acting in it. And, oh my gosh, what is her name? She plays Maddie. Why did I just forget it? Alexi. Sorry, hang on. Okay, I was close. It was Alexa Demi. So they have scenes of her recording as well. So it's on the way, finally. They're not in high school anymore. Thank goodness. They are, I think it said it jumped ahead 5 years maybe, or they're in college or something. Now it'll make what they do kind of a little less terrible, because I think the thought of high schoolers doing what they do on Euphoria is just frightening. But yeah, Tate McRae's album hit #1 on Billboard. It was her first #1 ever, and it sold, it's like 177,000 units, which, I mean, that's a lot. Don't get me wrong, that is a lot. But back in the day, they used to sell like 1 million a week. So it just dropped so much. I just can't believe that how much has changed. And it's just a harder market now because so many people can release their own songs and TikTok can make them go viral and they can just, become famous almost overnight. So it's not the same. Sorry. Streaming era has really changed the game. And yeah. All right, we'll end on this. We're at 55 minutes. Apparently Katy Perry was in New Orleans doing something. I don't know what, but she was. And she was honored, I think, by the mayor of New Orleans. And March 1st from here on out will be considered Katy Perry Day. So that's exciting. I don't know if she was there doing... Is Mardi Gras started? Maybe she was there doing some kind of Mardi Gras celebration thing. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, this time next week, we will be talking about Lady Gaga's Mayhem album. I'm wondering, you never know, because sometimes they release the album and the next day they release tour dates, and sometimes they don't release tour dates for like 2 or 3 months after the album comes out. Kind of hoping it's a little bit later because I need to go donate more plasma so I can afford tickets, because I will be going to Lady Gaga. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt. So yeah, anyway, thank you for listening. Happy almost spring, you guys. We have 18 days until spring officially starts. Oh, it's so exciting. When is daylight savings time? I think it's soon, right? Next week? Anyway, have a great week. Love you all. Thank you for supporting me. And I don't know, if there's anything you want me to talk about, message me. I respond. Well, if I know you. Just kidding. If you look like a normal person, not like a bot, I will look at the message. But if not, I won't. So if you want me to talk about anyone specifically, let me know. I'll be happy to try and research on them. Anyway, okay, bye.